Did you feel that tension? The nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat 1-0 victory against West Ham on Monday? Newcastle United showed us grit, determination, and most importantly, 3 massive points in the battle for Champions League football next season. But with the League Cup final looming, what did Eddie Howe reveal about his plans for Wembley? And is this a sign of things to come in our push for European qualification? We're unpacking all of it right here, right now, on the Newcastle United Digest. Let's go, everyone. Hello, everybody. Welcome out to the Newcastle United Digest, the channel delivering you tuned content in bite-sized chunks. My name is Adam Snyder, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about the win against West Ham on Monday at the London Stadium. We're going to preview the League Cup final a little bit at Wembley on Sunday, and we're going to talk about what this match implies for the rest of the season and what really needs to be done in order for us to qualify for Europe. The match itself was a bit of a snooze fest. Graham Potter's first priority since taking over as manager at West Ham has been to stop their leaking goal problem, and he's started to do that. Unfortunately, and he admits it fully, that it's been done at the expense of, well, scoring goals and any form of entertaining football. Combine that with an opposition that prefers to play in the break instead of break you down, like Newcastle, and it's a recipe for the type of game that critics of soccer will use to illustrate their boredom with our beloved sport. Fortunately, we came out on top of this dull game at the London Stadium. It did provide some bright spots, and it also gave Newcastle fans pause for concern going into the League Cup on Sunday. In games like this, sometimes you need people who don't normally contribute to step up and save the day, and getting a Bruno goal on a chip cross from Harvey Barnes didn't exactly show up on my 2024-25 Newcastle goals bingo card, so that definitely fits the bill. Both were excellent in this game outside of this winning moment. Bruno was a force in midfield, keeping the likes of James Ward-Prowse and Edison Alvarez at bay. He also stamped his influence on the offensive side of the field, completing 89% of his passes and all 3 of his long ball attempts. Harvey Barnes also stamped his influence on this game as well. Prior to the assist, he was making some very sneaky runs that allowed him some dangerous opportunities, both in the normal run of play and on set pieces. He's definitely not the pacey winger that Anthony Gordon is, but his ability to free himself brings a different quality and equally impactful dimension to Newcastle's attack. However, there were some things that were slight worries. The first one is Tino Livramento. He was solid on the defensive side of the ball, but he looked kind of uncomfortable going forward. He was unable to get synced up with Harvey Barnes in attack, and he looked and the two of them looked very disjointed for most of the game. It's very clear that he's a right-footed winger, and him trying to whip crosses just didn't work. He always had to try and cut it across. By the time he does that, he's either been closed down or there's nothing available. So he had to kind of improvise, and it just looked really awkward for him and for everybody watching. The second was Alexander Isak's inability to make an impact on the game. It was another off day for him, and it's the 4th game in 6 weeks where he has not contributed a goal or an assist. In that same spell, Newcastle has won 2 of the games he scored in, and Monday's win over the Hammers was the only game they've won. In the Premier League games he's featured in, Newcastle have won 12, lost 2, and tied once when he scored. And if he doesn't get on the score sheet with a goal or an assist, they've won just 2 matches, lost 6, and tied twice. He will have to step up big time going into the match at Wembley on Sunday. The other big concern for me was some of the defensive breakdowns that we had in the first half. And the most concerning one was almost a picture-perfect recreation of the first goal that Liverpool scored. Areola launched the ball over everybody's head after getting the ball back from his defenders, and once it flew over everybody's head at the center stripe, it caught just about everybody off guard. Just like the Liverpool goal, Dan Burn and Fabian Schär were caught near the center stripe, and it was up to Kieran Trippier to mop things up behind them. This was really worrying because it is very clear they did not learn their lesson from that Liverpool game. And it was something that I know Liverpool will be seeing on film between now and Sunday. And you know that Alisson, being the intelligent goalkeeper he is, will be looking for this opportunity at some point during the game. But before we talk about the match on Sunday and what this match means for the rest of the season, let's dive into our ratings by position. For me, Nick Pope is going to get a 10 out of 10 for this game. He didn't give us a lot to be scared about, and he wasn't particularly busy. He kept a clean sheet, so what else can you ask for? On defense, they're going to get an 8 out of 10 for this game. Yes, it was a clean sheet and a very tight game, and you would think that'd be a confidence booster for the defenders, the team, and the fans, right? Not necessarily. Much like the Wolves game a couple of months ago, this would have been a much different game if West Ham could finish. There were some worrying plays that gave me bad flashbacks from that Liverpool game, worse flashbacks from that Wolves game, especially in the first 45 seconds of the game. That has me a little bit worried going into Sunday. What doesn't worry me is how well our midfield played. They're getting a 10 out of 10 for this game. This game was mostly played in midfield, and our trio of Bruno, Tonali, and Joe Linton were a beastly force this game. They won key battles in the middle of the park, and Bruno got the lone goal on his son's birthday. I can't emphasize how much I enjoy watching Sandro Tonali play. He just glides wherever he needs to go, mops up pressure, and when he needs to, he just pulls out some techers to keep the attack going. Is there anything he can't do? Unfortunately, his efforts were kind of in vain with our forwards, and they're going to get a 6 out of 10 for this game. Murphy and Isak had an off day at the office, and they didn't really provide a lot of influence over this game. The surprising play of Harvey Barnes was great to see, and I look forward to seeing what he can do against Liverpool at Wembley on Sunday. One of the places he had a lot of influence on was on set pieces, and that's why they're getting a 7 out of 10. We didn't score on a set play, nor did we concede. We did create some good chances off of them, with the best one coming from Burn and Harvey Barnes in the first half. More like that, lads. Keep them up. And for the subs in this game, I'm going to give Eddie Howe a 10 out of 10. The subs were timely and very effective at keeping the scoreline where it was. There's not much else you can ask for in a very tightly fought 1-0 win. The subs and game management were perfect for this game. Overall, I'm going to give this an 8.2 out of 10. This was not an entertaining game to watch, far from it. But a win is a win, and it's great to see everyone stick together as a unit going into the League Cup on Sunday. Now, after watching this game, I started asking myself, how will Eddie set up this team against Liverpool on Sunday? I'm recording this on Tuesday, so you know that Eddie Howe and Jason Tindo were watching that Liverpool game against PSG with full focus today. You know they have to assume that we will be facing Liverpool's strongest starting 11. You know they have to assume that they will be playing Liverpool's strongest possible starting 11, especially since this will be the last game before the international break. You also have to think about the outside possibility of facing some of Liverpool's youth players, kind of like what they did last year when they won this competition against Chelsea. Even with the change of managers in the offseason, you still can't rule that out. Regardless of the lineup, you have to do something about the attacking prowess that Liverpool has from all over. Ideally, the best lineup would have been similar to how we played Arsenal in the second leg. 5 in the back with Botman, Burn, and Cher as a 3-man defense. Hall and Tino on the wings, Bruno, Tonali, Big Joe, and Murphy all feeding Isak up top. Without Botman and Hall, this isn't going to work out as well. With Gordon being suspended, this isn't going to work out as well. Your best options are replacing Hall with Tino Livramento, bringing on Trippier like we saw today, and then playing Emil Kraft alongside Burn and Cher, obviously putting in Harvey Barnes instead of Anthony Gordon. It could work, but I don't think it's going to be as effective. For me, I think we should just keep the same formation that we did against West Ham today. Keep a 4-3-3 like we've played for most of the season. For me, the only changes to this side should involve goalkeeper and defense. Tino Livramento looked very uncomfortable against West Ham on the left side, and that uneasy feeling will not go away when facing the Premier League's Golden Boot leader in a tournament final. He's going to have his handful with Mohamed Salah, just like Lewis Hall did when they played them a few weeks ago. Personally, I'd rather have experience and move Trippier over to that side and let Tino play on his preferred right side. Trippier has enough experience playing left back for England, so it will not be as unfamiliar to him, and his experience on big stages for big games will be an asset. In goal, the debate will rage on all week until the lineups are posted on Sunday. Does Nick Pope keep the starting position, or do we see Martin Dubravka return back to the sticks and get the nod? Both have shown their stellar shot-stopping abilities this season, but one of them is better with the ball at their feet. For me, I think Dub should get the start for this reason alone. The game plan should be to do whatever it takes to slow down Liverpool's counter midfield and find a way to keep Salah at bay. If these things are achieved, we can frustrate Liverpool enough to crack, or we can get another ugly 1-0 win like we did against West Ham. And if you're liking what you see so far, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber already. I'm going to have some awesome coverage of the League Cup final, both as a reaction and my journey to watching this game with Toon Army Chicago on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to putting that all together for you. And if you want to get an immediate notification when I release it, hit that notification bell after you subscribe, and you'll get an alert when I release it. Now that we have this win against West Ham out of the way, there's already a lot of chatter about what this game means in context of the League Cup final. Yes, a win does breed confidence, but Sunday's game is one of 11 matches this season. The other 10 have very strong implications for next season and the long-term shape of the team itself. I've talked in previous episodes about what European football, especially Champions League competition, means to Newcastle. It gives a stronger reason to hold on to our top players, as well as attracting fresh top talent in this summer's transfer window. After Newcastle released their finance last week, both CEO Darren Eales and sporting director Paul Mitchell had a lot of positive things to say about our prospects in the summer market. Getting to the Champions League will make those prospects even better. However, it will not be an easy fight to get there. Newcastle are in the middle of a 7-team dogfight for 3 places in the Champions League, with England soundly leading the coefficient battle for that extra spot in Europe's top competition. If that goes away, that becomes a battle for 2 positions. Right now, they are 2 points away from Chelsea in 4th, and Nottingham Forest is 4 points away in 3rd place. You can't rule out teams like Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, and Villa to keep up the pressure. All of them have the reasons to chase the promised land of Champions League football, and I think Villa's probably the most desperate to stay there because, well, they're in the middle of the competition right now. I looked at our schedule, and I think we have a reasonable chance at making it. We don't have a lot of the big teams to play anymore. The only one that's left is, well, Arsenal, and we're going to play them at the perfect time because we play them at the second to last game of the season. By that time, Liverpool will probably have the championship wrapped up, and they'll have nothing to play for. So that could be an opportunity for us to pick up some points there. You still have a lot of the bottom feeders to play, and we still do have some 6-pointers to play against those teams that we're battling for European spots against, but I think that we have a very, very good shot at making it. One thing that is nice is that we do have a win against West Ham in our pocket, and that will give them the confidence to keep on fighting after the League Cup distraction fades and the international break begins. I assume Eddie Howe will take the lads not on international duty off to Saudi Arabia for some warm weather training. They'll also benefit from not playing in the FA Cup, giving them an extra few days before they face Brentford on April 2nd. Gives all those international players a few days of recuperation and getting reacclimated with the squad instead of getting off a plane and being expected to play 2 days later. It still blows my mind that we're not even halfway through March and Newcastle has already played their last Premier League match of the month. 2 years ago, Eddie Howe did a wonderful job of keeping this team together, unified, and focused on qualifying for the Champions League after the League Cup. I know that he preaches unity and talks about it all the time, and togetherness and keeping a unit together. And I'm confident that he'll be able to do the same thing that he did 2 years ago between now and the end of May. That will do it for this episode of the Newcastle United Digest. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. Hit the like button. And let me know in the comments below, where are you watching the League Cup final on Sunday? And if you want to know where you can find a place to watch it with other Newcastle fans, also let me know in the comments. I do have a list of places across the United States, and I do have some contacts all over the world where you can watch it. So please get in touch with me if you need any help. I'm more than happy to be of assistance for you. So until next time, hoy the lads, let's get that cup. See you next time.